Okay, so you're shopping for a new car, and you have a long list of things that it needs to be. It's 2021, I want a new car with a manual transmission that's easy to enjoy but not boring. That same car needs to be quick, but not too fast, because it needs to be good on gas, and I don't want the wrong kind of attention. I want to be able to drive it every day like a wild man, but without worrying about something expensive breaking, and if something does break, I want to be able to fix it myself with whatever tools I have lying around. It needs to be both a convertible and a hardtop with air conditioning. This car needs to be modern but understandable, approachable for beginners and masterful to experts. I want a car that gets better as I do, one that I can leave alone or modify to my heart's content, but underneath is still my easygoing buddy, and it all needs to be cheap but not ghetto. That list of demands sounds impossible. And it was, for most of human history. For a while there, we had a few cars that came close to that list, like the MR2, the S2000, or like an old CRX or something. Those last three cars aren't cheap anymore though, they're collector's items, and they've all been abused over the decades. But every new car is cushy and automatic and fat and heavy and electric and expensive. Too many gizmos and computers and crap only the dealer can fix. I just want to have fun without going broke. I'm out of luck. Right? Nope. There's one car. Out of the trillion cars ever designed, there's one car that fits that ridiculous wish list. And we bought one. Every car now looks angry, but this one? Look at how happy it is. Now let's look at the interior of the Club Miata. Here you have a very slick, very easy 6-speed. Basic controls for air conditioning. E-brake is easy. I mean, you touch things and it's just a little wiggly, just a little plasticky. The window switches are in the middle. There's nothing on the door. The storage capacity is about that of a clutch purse. So down here you get just enough to slide your phone in there. Unless you have a big phone, that's not going to fit. And there are cup holders, but I mean, look at that. That's not going to fit anything American. It can't even fit my wallet. I think it's big enough for like a vape or a short Red Bull maybe. And then you have other cup holders right here, but this is where your arm is to shift. So you're not going to put anything here. And then back here you have just enough to hide a little bag of cocaine or your sunglasses. Perfect. And I think the glove box, which rattles constantly, has the owner manual, and that's it. But none of this stuff really bothers you because you're too busy being happy. The only challenge really is getting into the Miata without making dad noises. Ugh. I didn't mean to. It happens every time. So Mazda did put lots of modern car amenities inside the Miata, like a backup camera, Bluetooth, and a satellite radio with 1,000 stations. But you're not going to be using any of that. I don't think anyone's actually intentionally used the radio inside a Miata before, because the engine is your music. And then there's the other issue of no matter what station you pick, it only plays Extreme Techno, Gran Turismo, or Initial D. Watch. Let's try country. Okay, NPR. I don't know. Let's hear the Cardinals game. Sports. Another thing I really like is how close together the pedals are. It's like you can heel-toe rev match easier in this car than anything I've ever driven. I like the trunk because it's just big enough to put a bag of groceries in or a large purse. You even get this little dipped-in cubby to keep your one bag of groceries from sliding around too much. And then the trunk lid Weighs about as much as a finger, so you don't push it down, you just let it go. Now under the hood, Mazda kept it simple with something that works well for a long period of time. It's a 16-valve 2-liter 4-cylinder dual overhead cam making 167 horsepower and 140 torque. The gear ratios are very close, which makes it zippy and fun around town, but kind of a bummer on the freeway. Still, I'd take this over direct injection any day for a long-term driver. So driving with the top up is not something you're normally going to be doing, because the visibility goes from amazing to like wearing a football helmet. But even still, it feels like you're driving a big toy. Remember when you just turned 16 and you got your car and you're just looking for excuses to go for a drive? This makes you feel like that again. Do we need any milk? No? I'm getting some anyway. Like, that's what this is. There's a little bit more body roll than I'd like, but I think that's just to make it more comfortable for people. There's a giant aftermarket for these cars, so you can make them however you want. Now, they're pretty much set to make anybody happy right out the box, but then if you want to dial it in a little more, you definitely can. There's no shortage of aftermarket goodies to put on these. Now, the first thing I would probably do are like thicker sway bars to reduce body roll, and so the front end can change direction even faster. Although that right now is still quite good. You get an oil pressure gauge direct center in the gauge cluster here. That's cool. You don't normally see that gauge in new cars anymore. Yeah, the interior wiggles and rattles, but you don't mind because you're too busy having a good time. An MR2 Turbo is about the same size as this, but the interior is bigger and there's more power and it's more dangerous. This car is more accessible for normal people, where I'm not trying not to kill myself. I'm just enjoying going through the gears, you know? And it's just a pleasure. It's effortless. So we're just cruising around a neighborhood. Second and third gear are super easy. The clutch is easy. Everything's easy. Everything's little. There's tiny mirrors, tiny windows, tiny buttons, little steering wheel, little shifter. And that's all you need. You realize that most cars are too big. You don't even need all that crap. Like, this is just about getting somewhere and enjoying the drive. Cars don't do that anymore. New cars are fast, but that's because the car is fast, not you. The Miata is fast if you are fast. It's about who's the best driver, not who has the fastest car. And you just feel satisfaction from it. What a pleasure. I'll sum it up like this. Maybe on the inside, you feel like you'll never truly connect with people, or that nobody will ever really love you for who you are. You look in the mirror, you see yourself getting older and fatter, and you're extremely lonely, and you don't know why you're doing any of this. But then you get in the Miata, you turn it on, you drive about 50 feet, and you go, "This is great! I love today!" That's what the Miata does to you. It's cheaper than a therapist, you get immediate results. You have to drive one of these while you still can.